Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. Not a Dawn Busters, but an afternoon. Okay, so today we have a Canadian blended whiskey from 1934. Okay, so it's 84 years old at the time of this recording, or it's live now, but recording. Okay. Whoa. Blended Canadian whiskey, distilled under supervision of the government of the Dominion of Canada, product of Canada. Makes sense. 80 proof. It's an a relatively old bottle, but it does have a website, www.Sazerac.com. No age statement. Can't say how long it's aged. I know it's bottled in Frankfort, Kentucky by Sazerac at the Buffalo Trace Distillery. I know that. Okay, what else do we know about it? Nothing. Okay, so let me move this over a little bit. I don't want anything to jeopardize a correct or an accurate taste challenge. I don't want anything to tip me off, in other words. I want these directly in the center. Okay. Got to be careful. And you don't want these little clues. So I'll pour the Royal Canadian. My daughter didn't like it, but she said, then she admitted, well, there's really nothing bad about it. It just doesn't have much going for it. I agree with that. It's pretty dull. There's a special edition, I can't remember what they call it, small batch. That's what it's called, Royal Canadian Small Batch, which I've never seen except on the internet. Then I'll turn this thing on so people can comment. Okay, they were like live. Then we have Canadian Crest. Okay. This is bottled in Louisville, Kentucky by the Founders Company. Who's the Founders Company? Sazerac Company. Okay. It was introduced in 1987. And it's always been a private label brand. Not going to find it at a liquor store, I don't think. You're just going to find it at the Albertsons chain. And you can look up albertsons.com and it'll show you all their divisions, all the stores, Jewel Osco, Vons, et cetera, et cetera. I think they're owned by Cerebus Holdings. A lot of these companies are owned by holding groups, holding companies. So let's see about the color. They don't have an age statement on either one. They just both bottled in Kentucky at two different distilleries. They look the same, like the same color. But now one difference, this says Canadian whiskey with natural flavors, Canadian Crest. And then it's got a distiller master, I guess, approved by John James. Don't know who that is. This one just says blended Canadian whiskey. It doesn't say anything about natural flavors. But I don't think they actually have to disclose that. The Canadian regulations just say they can have up to like around 9% added natural flavors. And they tell you what that has to consist of. Distilled beverages, whatever they call it, which are at least 80 proof. And aged, what do they say? At least 2 years in oak barrels. For some kind of term to use for the barrels, small barrels. And it can be rum, brandy, bourbon. And then they say it can use wine too that has to be aged at least 2 years, I think. They don't give a proof on the wine, alcohol level on the wine. The appearance, yeah, it's about the same. This one might be a little more amber. That one might be more gold. I just want to sip it down to get it even because I've noticed in the past just the slightest little difference in weight can throw me off. I don't mean throw me off. I should say tip me off to which is which. And I'm not here to try to cheat because that doesn't prove anything. The taste challenge doesn't usually prove a whole lot, except that I have a hard time distinguishing some of these very similar items. These Sazerac brand Canadian blended whiskeys, they don't taste exactly the same, no. But they taste extremely similar, and they're very easy to get confused about, especially when it's not like I've been drinking any of these for years and years and years, and I know so much about them, and I'm familiar with the taste. I have drunk them a little bit here and there over the last year or months. So it truly is a challenge. And it's a contest to see which is better. Oftentimes, it's a tie. It's like, well, they both taste good. Or they both so-so, whatever. Then, who wins if it's a tie? Well, then you look at price. If they taste about the same, and they're both kind of enjoyable, let's say, but one's $2 more than the other, well, obviously, the sensible thing, you go with the cheaper one, right? The $2 less. Bucky Dent says, what's up? What's up? Chilling, drinking a bud. No, just doing a taste challenge. Okay. Time to do it. I bought I think the label's too dark for this one. You know, it's like so dark. It's like the Schlitz Malt Liquor old label. Was so dark. It just looked like dark blue on, or cobalt blue. No, darker than that, blue on black, and it didn't show up too well. This one, to me, is too much black. And it's just too dark. Well, I mean, it looks okay. It seems dark. It doesn't stand out. The Royal Canadian's dull. It's a bland label. But, you know, at least you could read it from a distance. It's kind of clear. All right. They both have a maple leaf, like it's kind of like a rule, I think. Every Canadian whiskey must have a maple leaf on it. I know that's not really a rule, but they do mostly have that. All right. Usually a crown of some sort. Usually this one does. Yeah, because the lions are wearing a crown. Here, no crown, but the big red maple leaf. Okay, time to smell. The initial whiff was like a flavoring. John and Illy talked about the almond extract. Okay, something like that. But it didn't say anything about that on the Canadian website, about almond extract. It was kind of specific about what it could be. But it could be like they use an aroma or something that smells like that or gives you the impression of it. It's something. It's an alcohol burn. It's a grain, you know, a distilled grain. It's very stereotypical Canadian whiskey. And if you've had enough Canadian whiskey, and I think I have, you start to pick up those flavors. Now you might say, have you had the best? Oh no, I didn't say I had the best. I just had enough of them to tell. It seems they seem to have a style, a national style, a Confederation character. A Dominion dependability. Okay, so it's like that. You don't want to say bland, and there's rye in it. You can pick up that rye spice, that peppery note, the barley bread. Okay, over here. You know, it's weird. Like the first whiff of both of these is a perfume. It's a nectar, sweet, candy, sugar, floral perfume. They do smell really good. If you could just smell them, but of course we buy them to drink. So there's where maybe the problem crops up. But honestly, I haven't bought any of them that's tasted bad. Nope, John and Illy said that the Canadian leaf was unusual. It was odd. He didn't say bad. He was actually kind of pleased with it, if you remember, we did the hangout. Okay, dope. Next week, I have taste challenges coming up with all the other ones. Canadian Club 12-year. Canadian Club Classic 12 year, Seagram's VO, Seagram's VO Gold. And then I've got to do a bunch of blended whiskey taste challenges with this new one that I already shot the review for, but I didn't post any videos. I was talking about it on Eric Frauenfelder, Thomas Meadows 75's hangout last night. But he said, no, we're getting too far off track on tangents talking about whiskey. Well, I agree with that. I think if you watch the hangout, though, I wasn't planning to talk about it, but someone asked me, tell us about your whiskey. I said, well, okay. I mean, you asked, so I'm telling you. But, I mean, but he's right. I mean, of course, if it's a beer hangout, you want to focus on the beer at hand, the Victory beer, which I couldn't get. We used to get Victory around here so easily. Now, nope, bye-bye, gone, can't find it. But the one coming up is called 75 South. 75 South blended whiskey. Yeah, it's a little better. Actually, a good deal better than I thought it would be. Well, a little better, let's say. I'm not sure if it was way better, but it was better. I wasn't too confident. But that'll be over a week away. Well, yeah, it'll be about a week before it gets posted, I would think. And over a week before the challenges kick in. Well, this is a challenge. Okay. Over here at my right could be your left, but it seems more standard alcohol, grain alcohol, you know, like corn whiskey type thing. The filler. Yeah, just kind of bland, along the lines of Canadian Mist, for example, which tends to be rather dull. Can't slam it though, because the company tells you it was designed that way. I mean, if the company's sitting there telling you this whiskey's designed basically to be dull as a mixer, don't sit there and complain that it's dull, because they're telling you that. You don't buy it, right? You just don't buy it anymore. It's like Seagram's VO. They're explicitly saying this on the website, basically saying it's not really designed to drink on its own. It's not gonna, it's a mixer. I mean, they're telling you that. So, okay. I think, now which one do I like better? I think I like this one on my left hand better. Has a little more flavor, which is making me think it is the Canadian Crest, which is with the natural flavors added, right? You know what I mean? So this one, you're getting more wood, you see, because the wood is shining through and there's no natural flavoring to, you don't have any rum or bourbon or brandy or sherry, well, maybe some sherry, added to give it, to override the wood. So what, you would know which one you would prefer, right? You're watching, so you would say, well, I would rather wood. I like a lot of wood character in whiskey. Well, yeah, you know, you would like this. If you might want to experience more exotic flavors, unusual flavors, definitely not something you'd find in American standard whiskey. Oh, well, yeah, all the flavored ones now, like the Tabasco, Dickel, and all of that. But yeah, this would be maybe something more to your liking. Why do you think they add the flavoring? Because without the flavoring, it's going to be very dull. Okay. And maybe they don't want the wood character shining through. I just don't know the logic behind it, but there's apparently logic. And it must be working because Canadian whiskey tends to sell at a pretty steady clip. Is it wildly popular? No, it is not. But are the sales healthy and decent enough? Certainly they are. And then I've been looking at articles online where they're talking about, and I'm not caught up in that at all, but I mean, I was reading them. They're talking about, is the bourbon thing, whatever they're talking about, starting to land? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like it's starting to come down. Same old thing, you know, it gets oversaturated and then people want to go on to something else. People are fickle. 5 years ago in craft beer, everything was what? IPA. Now it's any IPA and sours and you know, it just changes. You know, people want to try different things. So, and barrel aging, right? So, I think I prefer the flavored one more. It's cheaper anyway. So obviously I would buy it. I would buy the Canadian Crest over the Royal Canadian. What would I recommend? Well, that would depend on what, like I just said, what you would prefer. But I do think Canadian Crest wins. If you live in a state that does not allow grocery stores to sell liquor, you're out of luck. You can't get it. Wouldn't be able to buy it in Florida. You wouldn't be able to get it in Georgia or Alabama or Mississippi. But in Louisiana, yes. You might drive through most of Louisiana and say, how come y'all don't have liquor stores? Well, we have grocery stores and gas stations because the liquor stores can't make it because people go just to the gas station to buy their stuff, you know. Or Walmart, or Winn-Dixie, or Mathern's, you know what I mean? Or Food for Less. So now in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, I'm sorry, St. Bernard, I don't know what their rules are, but St. Bernard Parish, you have to buy liquor at a liquor store. It's not allowed to be sold at gas stations and grocery stores. But that's only the local parish ordinance. It doesn't apply to the other 63 parishes, you see. And I don't know about North Louisiana. It might be, they might have dry parishes up there like they do in Georgia, in Mississippi. They might have parishes you can't buy liquor at all, except maybe in a restaurant. I don't know. I don't ever go up there. And when I do, I'm not really paying much mind to that. And it's rare that I go up there. Some of my viewers might know they are from North Louisiana. Oh, that burn in my chest. Yikes. It's almost like heartburn. Whoa, I don't know if I like that feeling. You say it's a warming feeling. Yeah, no, it's like a burning feeling. Actually, to make you want to burp. And then it's uncomfortable. Okay. All right. I'm really fascinated to see what Canadian Crest is going to do against Canadian Club and Canadian Club Classic 12-year and the Seagram's VO and the Seagram's VO Gold. I don't think it's going to be much of a challenge. I think I'll be able to tell them apart in a snap. But, you know, and then it's just going to be me saying, what do I prefer? I can already imagine in my mind, you know, what they taste like. You can kind of remember those. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think you might say, oh, interesting. Some people watch it. Okay, here we go. I think this is the Canadian Crest. Ooh, I sure hope I'm right, because if I'm wrong, I'm going to feel shook up. Yeah. It's Canadian Crest. All right. I knew those flavorings were there. Oh, yeah. I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it. I shouldn't be bragging because oftentimes I get it wrong. I bet you Johnny Neely is going to say, I knew you'd get it, because he knew I was talking about that Royal Canadian had that wood flavor earlier in the year. Oh, well. Canadian Crest wins for two reasons. It has a better flavor, or let me say a more flavorful flavor, a more fruity whatever flavor. Okay. And it's a good deal cheaper. $5.99 a bottle. I mean, come on now. Come on. Oh, well. Yeah. So that was fun for me, at least. I'm always geared up, like in an animal sense, you know, the carnal person. I want to do one after the other. I want to do one taste challenge every hour, right? That's the natural man, you know. I want to do it all. I want to do it all. I can't wait. But we know that would be a terrible idea. So I have to have a lot of patience, and then I do about 4 times a week. About 4 times a week I do the taste challenges. It's slow, it's pondering, you know, it takes forever. I got people asking me for years now, when are you going to do Black Velvet? Black Velvet. I do understand the impatience there. It's not like beer where I could just drink the bottle down. You know, these you got to go slow. They're very powerful drinks. They're 80 proof or higher. So I'm not going to get in the habit of drinking a whole bunch of alcohol every day, liquor. I did a taste challenge this morning, and I did this today. And that is certainly it for the alcohol, the liquor. I do plan to drink 2 more beers today. 2 more beers in the next 6-7 hours. I wouldn't call it excessive. So next week, sometime, we're going to look at Canadian Crest against Canadian Club. And somebody was telling me, oh, that's the same kind of stuff. No, I don't think so. I find the Canadian Club has a much more pronounced beeswax and honeycomb aroma. It's strange. It's so obviously there. And the one I have in the kitchen is the 5-year retraction, the 6-year age Canadian Club, the 6-year age. You can't get it anymore. Well, I mean, you might be able to get it, but it's no longer produced. They've dropped it to 5 years. So the Canadian Club you buy today, the new ones of the last 4 or 5 years, is the 5-year age. Did I think the 6-year age was better? Yes, not tremendously better, but it was better. But they probably were betting on saving a year, aging it, and maybe the vast majority of consumers not really noticing that, and the sales still be good. Canadian Club still seems to sell pretty well. All right, so that's that. This taste challenge, I declare this taste challenge closed. I'm drinking a Budweiser right now. Your recent review got me excited to drink one again. Oh, okay. What do you think about it? Well, I'm about to shut this off. So if you want to make a comment on the, when it's recorded, you can put, it said make comments. Let me know. Be curious to see what you think about Budweiser. And it's funny that people will say, oh, you're just a commercial for Budweiser, because if you look at my refrigerator, you'll almost never see Budweiser, ever. That is not one of my standby beers, because I can save $2 a 12-pack and buy other things that I like just as much. I mean, I'm using price as a factor with that. I don't pay a lot for standby beers. I'm sorry, I just do not. If I'm drinking beer with lunch, that's a totally utilitarian exercise. It's something to drink with the lunch. It's not to contemplate. So I can use natural ice for that. Well, today I used Keystone Ice. Worked fine. Didn't sit there thinking about the complexities of Keystone Ice. Did not do that. Just drank it with lunch. It was very good. It was something to quench my thirst. And you drink liquid with lunch, right? I'm drinking water right here. Okay, I might do a beer review today for this. Well, it won't be posted for days and days, but it's a Louisiana sour ale. It's called River Rosé from Tin Roof. River Rosé, Red River. Oh, no, that would be Pink River, right? That's weird. Okay, well, it's got me confused. I don't know what it's about. I got to do some research on it. So look for that one. All right. Thank you, people. I appreciate your support. Y'all take care now.